I want to bring up something that you just mentioned of it's hard for people to accept certain things because it shatters their reality. So I want to give a real life example from a couple decades ago, having to do with, I believe it was the Ford Pinto, if I'm not mistaken, the car, and how they went about what happened with that thing, with that car. So true story, anybody can look this up. A lot of people watching may remember this. So the Pinto, the car, was actually going through this idea of being recalled. The reason why was because it had a faulty gas tank and it would explode randomly on people. So when I learned how they go about deciding to recall it or not, even though they know there's a problem, was what really opened my eyes to say, whoa, if it's happening there, it's happening everywhere. And this is a public case that may help the people that are having realities shattered to understand what's actually going on, although it's hard to accept. So with the Pinto, all these gas tanks, all these cars were essentially exploding. People were dying, and they had to make a decision. When they made the decision on choosing to recall it or not, they have, I believe they're called actuaries, if I'm not mistaken, and they have a formula. There's two things going on at the same time. The first side of the formula is an equation asking the following: how many cars did we sell? What percent of those cars are going to blow up? How many people are going to be in those cars on average? And what's the average value of the average person sitting in that car if we were to settle in court? And let's say 100 people are going to die and it's going to cost us $100 million. Well, now the second part of the equation is how much is it going to cost to recall the car? If it's going to cost 120 million to recall the car, we're not going to recall it. We're going to let the 100 people die because that's only going to cost us 100 million. That's the sick world that we're living in right now. It's about money. It's about power. It's about your stock price. And they'll let people die so long as we make a little bit more money and our investors are happy. Now, that's on a very, very low level. But keep in mind, if it happens in the car industry, it's happening in the medical industry. It's happening in every industry across the board because that shows you a reflection of our consciousness of where we are currently at.